Falcons hired the Rams defensive coordinator, Raheem Morris. And respectfully, I don't care for this hire at all because it's another defensive-minded head coach put with a loaded offensive roster. And if you thought the offensive mind in Arthur Smith, who gave you a 21-30 record in his 3 years, 3 straight 7-10 seasons, if you think it was hard for him to do that, how much harder is it about to be for a defensive coordinator that, yes, did win the Super Bowl with the Rams and did jump in as that interim head coach when Dan Quinn got fired and did okay. He still went sub 500 if my memory serves me correctly. But how much longer are the Atlanta Falcons going to make these types of moves? You interviewed Bill Belichick twice. You had Jim Harbaugh. You conducted 9 to 10 interviews, and you go with the comfort move. I understand that Coach Raw was here before for Atlanta, and I understand that he probably really resonates with the players because he was here before. But I know I've said defensive-minded coach so many times this podcast, guys, but I think the NFL way to get coaching now is kind of simple, just a little simple. Look at Brian Callahan. He worked with a lot of great quarterbacks. He's recently made an offense on the map. Go get him. Todd Monken. If he doesn't get an OC job, someone's going to go get him. Frank Smith. Running a great offense, helping Mike McDaniel over in Miami. Go get him. Eric Bieniemy before he went to the Commanders. Go get him. Still think he should have been a head coach. Now he is the assistant head coach. I think the Commanders will eventually promote him to head coach, but go get him. And the Falcons thought that a guy who was interim coach for them a few years back was going to be their answer when they haven't made the playoffs since the year after the Super Bowl, and they've struggled to go above 500 ever since then. But they're going to go with a defensive-minded head coach. This was, in a way, this kind of felt like a panic hire. Like, oh, shit, we don't know who we're possibly going to bring in. Clearly, we're going to pass on Belichick. And so you go with a guy who's worked for you before. I just don't understand how much longer that the Falcons are going to continue to pivot this way because they've got so much talent. They've got a Bijan Robinson. They've got a Drake London. They've got a Kyle Pitts. They've got a solid O-line. The defense is great, and maybe they want to supplement in that aspect. Maybe they'll see an offensive coordinator change up. I'm not necessarily sure. But there were 14 candidates here. I mean, this was the best guy over Jim Harbaugh, who I understand went with the Chargers. This is the best guy over Mike Vrabel. This is the best guy over Bill Belichick. I mean, I get it. At least Coach Raw is younger. And, maybe the NFL is tailored a little more towards him because he can connect with these younger players. And it's not that I think Bill wouldn't have been able to connect with these younger players, but damn, when you almost look at it, at least Bill's got the track record. At least Bill's got that consistency, Raheem Morris was one of 4 coaches who had second interviews with the club. The other was Belichick, Bobby Slovic, and then they interviewed another defensive coordinator, Evero, for the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons are the only team Belichick is known to have interviewed with, and they've decided to go in another direction. He went 4-7 after he was the interim coach for 11 games back in 2020. And I expected better from Atlanta here. I really did, because I was like, damn, if they can land Harbaugh, that's going to be sweet. It'll be his second stint as a full-time NFL head coach. He previously led Tampa Bay from 2009 to 2011 when he went 17-31 over his 3 seasons. Then he went to Washington. He was a DP coach from 12 to 14. Defensive pass game coordinator in 2015 and the receivers coach from 2016 to 19, while also being Atlanta's assistant coach as well. His first stint with the Falcons was the last few things that I just named there. Keith Smith of the Falcons absolutely loves it. Of course, he gets, Jesse Bates, AJ Terrell, Grady Jarrett, Tyler Algier, Chris Lindstrom, Jake Matthews. He's going to get all of those players inherited to him. But I didn't like this coaching hire from the Atlanta Falcons at all. I really wanted to see them get another offensive mind. And I don't know, man. I know I'm really at a loss for words and the take seems kind of dry. And go ahead and get in the comments, say, oh, well, but that's because you have nothing to say. Yeah, I don't have much to say because it's, again, I shouldn't care this much as a Saints fan, but it's the Falcons doing these types of things when they have the talent that they do on their team.